just going to talk about the dynamic of the pseudo-spiritual life. Now, spirituality is a beautiful, beautiful gift. And being able to tap into those realms and that space is a skill that few are starting to master and come out with. And a lot of people know this, and there's a lot of different secret schools and mystery schools and stuff like that everywhere. And you're starting to hear more frequently, and is in the common vernacular, to use words like vibes and manifestation and different things like that, alchemy. And there's also this somehow perceived notion that spirituality is above humanness, and humanness is, and by using humanness, I'm defining those things that are emotionally charged, or hormonally based, like our surges for sexuality, our surges for anger, despair, loneliness, different things like that. And we scale, right? So we say that positive is good and negative is bad, and we push negative away. And from the female perspective, this rise of the grand feminine, there is a deeper spiritual mystery connection. That cosmic womb space that is the universe that has created us to be here now, has created us to be here now in this physical body. If we're having this conversation, most likely you're in a physical body. You clicked on this video and you're watching it and you want to know, what is the deal with me being so spiritual? Is it hard? Is it negative or wrong if I have these negative emotions, this pain, this whatever I'm trying to process, this past? And no, it's not wrong. In fact, it's correct to have it. What I would say is wrong is the torturing of the self, the repeating of the storylines and the patterns that just keep going in this spiral going downward. So it's getting faster, right? We're seeing it happen more often, what it is that we're experiencing. And we're seeing the parallels and timelines converging, and I think I just flipped a switch, a breaker. And if we really want true balance, if we really want to meet our true being, our sense of belonging, and in a reference for twin flames, if you really want to connect with your twin flame and you are the feminine aspect, you have to bring it down. Okay? So the spiritual space, we're not stuck there. That's a beautiful space, but we're in this physical body to feel this physical experience. And yes, there is a sensuality, there is this connection, there's this approach, but we have to reach the balance dynamic. So the male and female dynamic. Not saying that that is the all there is of sexuality. There's clearly a spectrum, but what we're looking at is within. Because as within, so without. So where are you disconnected? If you're floating around in the spirit realms and your finances are in order, then you have to take a look at that and actually bring it to the table and say, okay, I can float around here all day. I can hear all these energies, entities, vibrations, and I can discern what's good and bad for both myself and maybe others. Maybe I can see auras. Maybe all these things are starting to come to me. That's wonderful. But in order to make it sustainable for not only yourself, but everyone around you, you have to build this community, this economic, functioning reciprocity of being. And that could start as easy as not just buying from a mass market, but buying from the local farmers, connecting that way to the land around you. One, getting in your body, and I teach exercises on how to bring that spirituality into the waking reality, into the waking now, into this present moment, because that's what we're doing here. We are flowing as a channel because we come in directly from source, brought in from space by the mothership. to the grand mothership to enjoy the experience of being here on this earth. So, as much as we are exploring the heavens and we're realizing heaven is here on earth, how we wake into that is we embrace all of the realms. Now the feminine, I'm going to show a couple of pictures. The feminine is, I learned this in human sexuality when I was like in the 6th grade. The female, all of their sexual organs can be brought up kind of like a pyramid. And that pyramid is down here. I'm actually like, I didn't know I had a hole in my shirt. I think that just happened. Okay. So it's an upside down triangle. In that sense, weighted. The feminine thoughts are weighted in the above. And I did a basic number count here. 1 through 9, because there are at least 9 realms within the physical body itself. But we're not going to get into that into this video. What we're just trying to help you understand is the broad concept of heaven above and earth below. And in terms of the masculine, we actually have above and the earth below. So when you see men finding their stability, right, in or the masculine energy finding its stability in the material, in the grounding, and then the next space is sexual, which is also audio, but it's for them it's instinctual. Feminine finds herself in love with spirit, being as her sexual organs are in an upside down pyramid. And the masculine has a right side up triangle. Marriage of those two energies creates a third energy, which is a transporter, a travel conduit, if you will, into the next stage, generation, or time. If you want to master the body, you must also master the spirit to have a full life, to have full balance, to have full union. The sacred union is that which is within, and when it can be held without attachment to the visualization of its material, it's just felt intrinsically on a cellular level. It becomes manifest. If this frequency has not been practiced and held, but is brought to artificially via drugs and, there's other types of deprivations and overstimulations that you can utilize to get you to a state of bliss. But if bliss isn't practiced on a daily basis, then bliss cannot be maintained, right? Wealth cannot be maintained without the skills of learning how to manage and budget finances. So, on that note, for those of you who are stuck in the spiritual and don't want to touch that mucky, dirty, nasty, filthy life, then you really aren't enjoying fully the human experience. You get to awaken to your own power, and that is both a balance of the masculine, which is our pyramid going up, masculine, and our feminine, which is the triangle going down, or the pyramid going down. And as they rotate, they become pyramids. Now it's the rotation, the stabilization of the energy, because it creates a field. And when the two energies are together, they're even more so balanced. So, if I'm going to apply this to daily life as a spiritual being, yes, it's fun to float in spirit and to ride those waves and to see those patterns and to be there. But if I'm not in control of my finances, or if I'm not in control of knowing that I'm safe and secure in like housing, then the stabilization of anything that I try to create becomes incomplete, and it flows off to the ethers, just like spirit does day after day. And if you don't get on top of that, then what happens for those of you who are, let's say, heavy on your earthly plane but light on your spiritual, right? You've got all your money in order, but you're emotionally a wreck, or you something happens. Your kid has one little thing, something happening, and you blow up because you haven't learned how to process sustainably that which is coming in. You get an instinct that tells you, don't do this. You do it anyway, and then you're beating yourself up over it because you didn't listen. You didn't balance your spiritual with your earthly concrete manifestation, and that's very simple and easy to do, and society is changing out of, but is currently built to scare people out of acting, or has them instant reacting instead of responding, right? So when we take the time to really reflect, within our inner balance, then we're able to attract more balance in our day-to-day experiences. And yes, there are tests, and these aren't really tests. They're more like gauges of where you are within yourself on a day-to-day basis. So I hope that helps you. That is what's coming through right now in terms of creating a stable Merkaba. Now this message is for twin flames in particular. You know exactly what I'm talking about. How do you expect to come into union if you're refusing to look at yourself, clean up what needs to be cleaned up, get out all that old junk? You're on mission, baby. And if you don't know what your mission is, you better find your bliss. And I know I'm speaking very sternly, but finding your bliss is like finding your childhood joy. And if you are hesitant to do that, and you don't see how the universe is providing that for you, then you need to reevaluate your perspective so that you can get into the proper vibration for sustaining that union that you so preciously know you are going to have. Because it's just going to be heartache and crazy ups and downs if you're attaching to unhealthy, unbalanced, unwise patterns that you know that you can see. Abuse you can see coming from yourself, right? Because you're putting yourself in the situation. And if you're an adult and you're owning yourself and your power, and you're in, let's say, the contiguous United States. No, if you're on Earth, period, there's a way. There is a way to get out of that situation and into the best life that you know that you're here to live. Stay blessed, stay golden. Think about it.